Hey everybody, so I just want to shoot a quick video on wholesaling and how investors or real estate agents work with me as their wholesaler. I get this question a lot from lots of people. Like they just want to know, hey, how does wholesaling work and how do you work? What is your process towards working with investors and other real estate agents? And so I just want to shoot a quick video on that so everybody kind of understands what the process is like. So wholesaling is this simply me bird dogging investor properties out there for investors or landlords. And when I find a property that I think the numbers make sense, and that there's profit there and the comps make sense, I put that property under contract. And so once I have that property under contract, I send that list out to my list of investors. And when I get an investor or a couple investors that say they want the property, I um, I just do this two-page contract that you're looking at here with them. And really, I do a first come, first serve with investors. So the first, and this is really kind of my selling feature, I guess, that a lot of other wholesalers don't do, and that's why it's so easy to work with me. Is that I do first come, first serve. There's a lot of wholesalers in town that they do like a bidding process, and so they'll set up a time for the investors to come out, and they'll get 15, 20 investors running through a property, and then they'll collect bids from everybody as they go through. And then in a couple hours from then, they select the highest bid, and then that investor gets the property. I don't do that. I do first come, first serve. And the reason I do that is because I've been in those investor shoes before, trying to buy from wholesalers under that type of process. And when you're as an investor, you're spending all that time and money doing your inspections and getting everything done up front, and you're not even getting the property. It's kind of crummy in my eyes. So that's why a lot of investors love to work with me, because I do first come, first serve. So with that said, I want to go into how the process works. So once I have a signed contract with an investor that wants the property, and I've collected earnest money from them, there's really three ways, really two ways that we go about transferring the property to that investor. 9 times out of 10, we're simply just doing an assignment. So we do an assignment of contract. So the contract I have with that seller, I just simply do an amend extend. I switch Dream Home Builders to whatever entity that investor wants, and I put them as the buyer. And then I send all that documentation, all that the contract disclosures, everything to that investor. And I take a step back as the buyer. I basically just become the agent at that point. Um, that's normally how we go about it. It's the cheapest way, um, and it's the easiest way. The title, it's really easy for title to do it that way. So, like I said, 9 times out of 10, that's typically how we're doing it. Now, once in a while, we'll run across more times than not, it's a listing agent that has a problem with the assignment. And in that case, if we're having problems getting the contract to sign, then we simply just switch over to a double close. And so instead of doing an assignment, we go to the title company, and we'll double close it, which is basically we'll close your end first, and then we'll close the seller in second. And it's a simultaneous close, often what it's called. And we rarely have to do those anymore, but it is an option if we run across a problem with that. But the third one I have in my contract down here is transfer of LLC. Don't like to do that because I like to use my LLCs. Never really have had to do that. So that's not even really an option we have to consider. But for some reason, we run into a situation that is an option that we can exercise as well. So I just simply sell you the LLC that the property is under. So that is how we transfer the property over. Now, the next piece I want to talk about is, if you haven't worked with wholesalers before, one of the things that I run into once in a while with newer investors is that they want an inspection period, and there is no inspection period with wholesalers typically. Once you sign the contract and you put down your earnest money, that earnest money is hard, and so it's non-refundable. So what I tell all investors is, do your inspections up front and get everything, run your numbers, your comps, do everything up front. And then when you're ready to pull the trigger, just know that your earnest money is going to be hard and that you're going to be set to close. So Um, that's the second piece. The third thing I want to kind of go over real fast is working with other agents. So once in a while, I'll get this call from an agent that say, "Hey, I got an investor. Are you paying a co-op?" And there is no co-op on wholesale transactions. So if you're a real estate agent working for an investor, you have to put your commission on top of the purchase price. So if I'm selling for 400,000, you can mark it up to 410,000 to your investor and have them pay you a $10,000 at closing. So I wanted to point that out because I get that question a lot sometimes too. So, but that's basically about it. This is the two-page contract that I use. Once we fill it out, I got earnest money, and then we do the assignment, which is typically how we do this. This contract really takes a back seat to the transaction, and but that's basically about it to how I work with investors and how I go about doing these wholesale transactions. So hopefully that answers a lot of questions. And if you still have some more questions, certainly give me a call. I'll be happy to answer any questions I can about it. I'll post this contract on my website as well. So if you're looking at my properties, you can have it handy. And if you're ready to move forward with the property, I mean, you're ready to go. You're a step forward ahead of most other investors that wouldn't have this contract available. So I hope that helps, and certainly call me with any questions.